Pronouns are important because we use them all the time. So it's worth taking the time to really think about using the correct one when you're describing people, places, and things. The reason they're important is that we don't always want to repeat long nouns. Look here, Don Miguel Eduardo Jose de la Cruz is a long name. So for the rest of the paragraph, I only need to say he. That's what the pronouns are for. Now we have subject pronouns. You can see these in boldface. Look at that picture. He likes her. She isn't sure. Who knows? They might date. I think they make a nice couple. We should invite them. Okay? So when they come before the verb, the subject pronouns, sometimes they change the verb. So notice it says he likes with an S. Whereas you go down to the bottom, I think, there's no S. So in the present simple, the pronoun is going to have an effect on the verb, but the details of that are for a different video. Here's another look at them in a chart, and you can see a little bit more clearly. When we use I, we say am, and a regular verb have. When we say you, we, or they, we use are, or a regular verb as in need, or a negative as in don't have to. When we use he, she, or it, we use is for singular, and we put the S on the verb, and we use doesn't plus a regular verb. So that subject pronoun is not just a word, but it's also something that affects your choice of the verb. Now, object pronouns go at the end, and they're pretty much stay the same. And here are some examples. Give the job to her. Don't hire him. The boss got mad at us. No one tells me anything. There's a problem with it. Tell us the truth. Someone sent it to you. Okay, so that's an example. You can read it, you can hear it, and try to remember. And here's what it looks like in a chart. Now, it's going to go after the verb, and it's also going to go after prepositions. You can see some prepositions at the bottom. I have in, on, at, about, on, with, for, against, to, under, from, and there are others. They're little words that give extra information. So when I say the cat is afraid of me, then the object pronoun comes after a preposition. But when I say the neighbors trust you, then the object pronoun comes after a verb. Okay, so don't call him after a verb. The best thing is to forget her after a verb. I don't care about them after a preposition. And someone lied to us after a preposition. So when you're looking at sentences and reading, you might want to pay a little bit of attention to prepositions so that you can learn the patterns, remember them, and then it'll be easier to use the correct one when you write or when you speak. So let's practice. Here are a couple of examples with he, him, and she, her. See if you can describe this picture. Stop the recording. Think about it. Maybe you write a few things down and then start the recording again. So my examples were he didn't tell her about it. She doesn't trust him. He has to apologize to her. She might forgive him. He is a good person. She likes some things about him. He helps her with her homework. I don't know, I'm just making things up, but that's an example of what you can do when you look at a picture and you try to get that subject pronouns and those object pronouns. Let's try with these. Here you have a group of people, so you could use they or them. And just to practice, you can talk about we or us, maybe thinking about our family, with a husband or a wife and children or parents, okay? Stop the recording and make up your own sentences and then start it again, and I'll tell you my examples. Are you ready? They cook vegetables for us. We eat them. They make delicious food. I love it. We cook for them sometimes. They talk to us and they give us advice about the kitchen or about life. We listen to them carefully, but we don't always take advice from them. Nobody does. Those are just some more examples. Now try another one. Here is a romantic story, and again, you could probably use he, she, or her, him. Stop the recording and start when you're ready for examples. So here are mine. You can stop and read. He loves her. He asks her to marry him. She wants to marry him. There's a problem with the family. They try to stop the couple. Nothing will stop us, he says. They run away and live happily ever after. Notice all those pronouns. Now, I want to leave you with one thing that you might have a question about, and that's something very different from pronouns, and that's possessive adjectives. I made these in red because they're very different. They're not nouns. They go before nouns. So they have to go together with a noun. They cannot go alone the way a pronoun can. Okay, so if I can't say her hate him, I have to say her parents hate him. His pride gets in the way. It's a two-word subject. Your happiness means a lot to me. Or you couldn't say the kitten loves my because it's not finished. You have to say the kitten loves my children. Or you could say the kitten loves me, but that's a pronoun, not a possessive adjective. I didn't take their advice. Thanks for your hard work. Okay, so you can see the difference, hopefully, and putting it in a red color might kind of show how that is different from those pronouns. So that's an explanation, but the real work is for you to do in your own brain to try to pay attention to your speaking and your writing and make sure you get the correct form before the verb and the correct form after the verb or after the preposition.